So this story is both shocking, disturbing, and yet unsurprising, all in equal measure. You may recall a few weeks ago that the West Midlands Police, which is a regional British police force, determined that they were not going to permit Maccabi Tel Aviv fans from going to the game against Aston Villa because they said they couldn't guarantee their safety, effectively banning Israeli and Jewish supporters. It was appalling. But Nick Timothy, former, I think he was a special advisor to Prime Minister Theresa May and a Conservative Member of Parliament, has now published the secret West Midlands Police intelligence, quote-unquote, report used to justify banning the Maccabi Tel Aviv supporters. He's also publishing other material that contradicts the police intelligence. Let's have a look at what he's said. A reminder, Birmingham Council's Safety Advisory Group banned Maccabi Tel Aviv fans from the match against Aston Villa. They did so on the back of this West Midlands Police Intelligence report. But that report has since been widely discredited. A report by the Dutch Justice and Security Inspectorate contradicted West Midlands Police. There was no deployment of 5,000 officers. No evidence that 500 to 600 fans intentionally targeted Muslim communities, nor of people thrown into the river, because that was what they based the decision on, that we're told, that what happened in November of last year when there was that match in Amsterdam and there was all these problems that occurred, the violence that occurred, actually largely anti-Israel activists targeting the Maccabi supporters. Then, in the Sunday Times last weekend, the Dutch police laughed at West Midlands Police. Sebastian Major, a spokesperson for Amsterdam Police, called the claims of West Midlands Police in its intelligence report and public statements not true. The police are accused of fabricating evidence and lying about it. There are two possible explanations. One, the police genuinely feared disorder, but wanted to blame Israelis and Jews, not the Islamist agitators and local thugs who hate Israel and Jews. Two, the police felt political and social pressure from those who want to ban and boycott all things Israeli. That was the original demand of the local MPs, a so-called Gaza Independent MP, and at least two councillors on the Safety Advisory Group. The WMP intelligence report bears some resemblance to this research report by the Hind Rajab Foundation. The foundation claims it laid the groundwork for the police. Its chairman, Diab Abu Jahar, is a former Hezbollah fighter. To get a flavour of what things were like, even with no Israeli fans, watch my video from the day of.
Just invited them to express their opinion, and they started calling me a dog. Why do you think I'm a dog?
Officer, can you take this dog away?
I haven't done anything.
Go away.
War crimes?
Yeah, they serving the IDF.
The IDF, I never heard that being said. So I feel like you're just saying that to manipulate.
The left say there aren't any no-go areas in our country, but tonight, Birmingham, our country's second biggest city, and the place where I spent my childhood, is becoming a no-go area for Jews. Aston Villa in the Europa League tonight played Maccabi Tel Aviv, and after a very nasty campaign by Islamist thugs, Maccabi Tel Aviv supporters have been banned from attending the game. Our activist councillors like Wassim Zafar and Mumtaz Hussain got to ban Israeli Jewish football fans from the city. And West Midlands Police went along with it. They said it was for safety reasons, but it was an admission that they can't protect Jews in Britain from Islam and thugs on our streets.
I think it's just very sad.
Yeah, I think it's disgraceful that we've brought sectarian religious politics to second city of the UK.
Yeah.
That we're essentially banning people because of nationality, and by de facto because of their religion, that the Jewish.
You think you have a right to Chapman-Stein test of the IDF?
That's the IDF, I never heard that being said. So I feel like you're just saying that to manipulate the media.
Right, you did so.
I feel like people like you come here intentionally to cause trouble.
No, really? You think I'm causing trouble?
You guys are here. You lot don't live here. You lot live in probably your country areas and
Really?
like your nice and posh areas.
Really?
You lot cause a problem for our families who live and reside here. You know what I mean?
Well, I've got a season ticket here, and I went to school up the road, actually, so I have every right to be here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we got the same rights.
How do you feel about Jews being banned from coming to the game this evening?
I feel like those fans that got banned, probably it's good they got banned.
You feel what?
It was good that they got banned from coming.
Yeah?
Definitely.
So you feel proud that Jews aren't allowed to come to a football match in Birmingham?
I'm glad they got banned, because if they came here, they would have 100% caused problems. And if they caused problems, we would have had to defend ourselves.
There's something really strange going on in Aston at the moment. Even the estate agents have their posters up with Palestinian flags, saying estate agency done differently, with a Palestine flag and some Arabic writing.
Well, we think it's absolutely disgraceful that we have a team that is actively engaging in war crimes. A team.
The team is engaged in war crimes?
Yeah, they serve in the idea.
The footballers
Yeah.
are all engaged in war crimes.
Yeah, I mean, they serve the IDF. The IDF has been, as you know, for the last 2 years and beyond, for 77 years actually, as a state and their gangs have been committing war crimes non-stop. And to be a citizen of Israel, you have to serve in the IDF. You have to basically swear on the oath to or pledge allegiance to the devil, to the Zionists.
So by that logic, you're saying that any citizen of Israel should not be welcome in Britain?
Well, yeah, especially if they're engaging in war crimes. I mean, goodness sake, we go crazy when anyone's accused of anything. But when people have been, for the last 2 years, clearly violating UN laws and international laws and committing genocide, we're not taking the same treatment.
You get the idea. He says that, Nick Timothy says he asked an urgent question about this in Parliament on Monday. The policing minister has written to WMP seeking answers. That's West Midlands Police. And the Home Affairs Committee will take evidence from the police on Monday, although the Chief Constable is avoiding attending. Yesterday, the Police and Crime Commissioner wrote to Chris Phillip MP, who's the MP for Croydon South and the Shadow Home Secretary, and himself asking us for information. He said he is also asking questions of the police, although like the Home Office, he faces questions about what he knew about this decision and when. So, I'm publishing the secret West Midlands intelligence report along with links to Dutch Justice and Security Inspectorate report. And I've replied to Mr. Foster here. There's much more evidence out there from those who attended public meetings and heard the claims made by West Midlands Police, from the Dutch authorities, from Gabriel Pogrond at the Sunday Times, from Lord Mann, an expert in anti-Semitism and football violence. And as in my letter to Mr. Foster, there are more questions. The police must publish everything and justify its actions. If it can't, the Chief Constable will need to resign, and others, the Council, PCC, National Police Chiefs Council, and ministers must also be accountable. And you should know, by the way, that the JC have reported that the Amsterdam mayor says she does not recognise Birmingham police claims about violent Maccabi fans. She said as follows: Amsterdam's mayor says she doesn't recognise the figure of 600 Maccabi hooligans attributed to the Dutch authorities by West Midlands Police to justify the force's ban on the Israeli clubs. Halsema also rejected the English force's claim that 5,000 Dutch police were deployed to quell violence during the Maccabi match against Ajax in November 2024. In a letter to the House of Commons Home Affairs Select Committee, the police stated intelligence indicated that on the day preceding the figure, between 500 and 600 Maccabi fans deliberately targeted Muslim communities, committing hate-motivated offences including serious assaults on Muslim taxi drivers, singing hate-filled songs and tearing down Palestinian flags. Dutch police described the Maccabi Tel Aviv risk group as highly organised and experienced in violent confrontation. On a match day, there were widespread incidents of vandalism, assaults, and running street battles. However, spokesman for Amsterdam Mayor Femke Halsema told the JC, "I don't recognise these figures." Instead, she backed the official statement of facts compiled by Amsterdam Police Chief Peter Holler and Chief Prosecutor René de Bukale and presented to the Amsterdam municipality as an authoritative source of information on what happened in Amsterdam. The JC obtained a copy of the report, which said that ahead of the fixture, authorities in the Netherlands had noted that the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans do not have a violent reputation. Moreover, despite the aggressive behaviour of a small minority of Maccabi supporters in Amsterdam, authorities found that it was the Israeli fans who were the target of groups that are looking for a confrontation with Maccabi supporters. And of the 59 arrests that were made, just 10 were Israeli and the remainder were Dutch. There you go. He told the Sunday Times, this is West Midland police figures have also been disputed. by Sebastian Major, a spokesman for the Amsterdam division of the Dutch police, and he told the Times, in total, we came to 1,200 in different shifts, though. I read 5,000 police. That number is not true. He added there was no evidence that 600 Maccabi fans deliberately targeted Muslims. So this is actually looking more than just incompetence. This is actually looking like something sinister, okay? And to have this kind of sinister infiltration involved in the British police, well, that raises some very, very serious questions indeed. And Nick, Timothy and others, thank you to them for leading the expose of this. And clearly, this is not the end of the matter. A quick message. We all hear about the Palestinian displacement, or Nakba, of 1948. But you know, there was another, even greater displacement that we haven't been told about. Nearly 1 million Jews were expelled from Arab lands at the exact same time. Watch the trailer for our new and absolutely essential documentary called The Real Nakba. And if you want to watch the full film, just click the link below in the video description. We've all been told about the Nakba, the Palestinian catastrophe of 1948. Around 700,000 Arabs were displaced. But here's what you're rarely told. That displacement didn't come from some Jewish plan for genocide. It wasn't Israel's goal. It wasn't Israel's desire. It happened because Arab leaders launched a war of annihilation. They tried to wipe out the newborn Jewish state, vowing to drive the Jews into the sea. And in the chaos of that war, people fled. Many because their leaders told them to, promising they'd return after victory. But the term Nakba was originally used to describe the fact that the Arabs lost the war, not the displacement. Now the term describes the displacement of war used as a political weapon against Israel. But you know, there was another Nakba you haven't been told about. A catastrophe rooted not in the fog of war, but in the clear, deliberate desire for persecution and genocide. It happened at the very same time, and it led to even more displacement, yet most of the world has never heard of it. Over 850,000 Jews, more than the number of displaced Arabs, were driven from their homes across the Arab world. Communities that had thrived for millennia were uprooted overnight. Families stripped of citizenship, of property, of dignity, assaulted, expelled, forced to flee with nothing but their faith. Why? Because they were Jews. Because Israel dared to exist. Because the Arab League openly orchestrated it, drafting plans in 1947 to freeze Jewish bank accounts, seize property, and intern Jews as enemy nationals. This is the real Nakba, a catastrophe born of pure anti-Semitism. In this JTV documentary, we'll journey country by country, from Baghdad to Cairo, from Sana'a to Tripoli, uncovering buried truths and survivor voices. And no, this isn't a tale of victimhood, it's a saga of endurance, courage, and triumph. Because the Jewish people didn't just survive this Nakba, we rebuilt, we came home. In Israel, our phoenix soared from the ashes. So buckle up and let's dive in. To watch this JTV Plus documentary and access much more premium content, click on the link in the video description.